This week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by, once again, boycotting the Oscars. Not for any, moral stance or anything, but just because, I haven't watched them for 30 years now, so why am I going to start at this point? Who the fuck cares about people in Hollywood? They're all worthless pedophile losers. I don't know. Hello and welcome back to Here's What I Don't Get, from north to south, east to west, the only intercontinental podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues. I am your host, Tab Burton. With me today, my friend. He's hacking the movies. It's Tony.
Hello, Tab. Just a quick piece of advice, okay? YouTube doesn't like naughty words in the first minute, so maybe not whip out the pedophile word in your opening statement. Could you say minor attractive person from now on?
Bold of you to think that anybody cares about what's going on this podcast. Are you not allowed to say pedophile on YouTube anymore?
I don't know what you're allowed to say.
Open pedophiles.
They did that thing again where they changed all their rules to bow down to advertisers, and now they're walking the rules back again because the advertisers probably came back at discounted prices. That happens every couple of years.
That's the thing about the whole we have to sanitize this for advertisers. Fuck them. If they don't want to advertise on YouTube, someone else will. Who the fuck cares?
They advertise
my God,
on...
I'm not going to see another fucking Progressive car insurance commercial. Whatever will I fucking do?
But it's like the advertisers advertise on violent shit on TV and stuff. They just know you're new to the game. They know they can get one over on you. But anyway.
What YouTube should have said when they're like, we're not going to advertise here if you don't enforce these censorship rules. It's been like, bye, bitch. We'll only have advertisements from Pornhub and cigarettes. Fuck you.
Ugh.
We're YouTube. We're the biggest platform on the fucking planet because we artificially keep out all competition by not making a profit at any point in time. Where else are you going to go? How is he going to advertise to these fucking weird neats that live in their parents' basements cosplaying until they get outed on Tucker Carlson? It's a true story that happened this week, too.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, Tony, how have you been since we last saw you?
Oh, I've been doing great. I'm feeling a little left out, Tab, because I work in entertainment, and I've been feeling a little dead inside. So when I watched the Oscars last night, I was assuming I'd be in the memoriam because I'm dead inside, but they left me out of the in memoriam, Tab. I can't believe it.
Sons of bitches.
No, we were joking. We were talking before the show. It's like every year people are shocked that 2 or 3 actors were left out of the in memoriam segment, but it happens every year. So people should stop being shocked because they always leave someone out.
Yeah, and also, shouldn't there be some guy at the Academy Awards? His whole job is just whenever he gets one of those Google News alerts, boom, boom, person has died. Just all right, write that.
Are they relevant enough to put in the thing? It's not Tom Sizemore. I know he did some schlocky shit recently, but
he was
the
in
big
Batman
ones were.
Begins.
No, he's not.
Oh no, I'm thinking Tom Sizemore was in Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, he was in that one. No, the big ones this year were Anne Heche, which that happened a long enough time ago that someone should have included it. But Tom Sizemore is recent, so maybe they just already had it made. I don't know. But I was telling you, the one is a girl who was in one of the movies that got nominated this year. I'm like, all right, that one's pretty bad. You probably should have made sure she was included. But yeah, it happens every year, and every year people get super. One, stop watching the Oscars. I actually didn't watch the Oscars last night. That was a lie I told for the bit. I instead presented Best Picture for the Scare Awards.
Oh wow!
Some YouTube channel, they did an award show for just horror movies. And for some reason, even though there were way bigger people than me, they picked me to present Best Picture, which I wasn't expecting. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't watch the actual.
Oblivion, Tom Cruise.
That's been in my DVD collection since it came out, and I haven't watched it yet. Is it any good?
So the reason why I picked it was I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be great. It wasn't going to blow my mind, but it was a Tom Cruise movie. So it would have to be at least watchable.
Yeah, they do. Other than The Mummy, they usually are. They usually
Yeah.
are.
And I think that that's because Alex Kurtzman is so terrible that when you even paired up with like a box office gold like Tom Cruise, he somehow crashes and burns it.
I did like
but-
that they tried to get the Mission Impossible guy to touch it up, but I think he came in way too late. Like the damage was already done.
Yeah, Oblivion was fine. Like I probably will never watch it again. It's not like
Yeah.
Minority Report or one of his great sci-fi movies, but it was fine. It was worth the one watch. I read a review on it, and I think the reviewer might have been functionally retarded because it was like I didn't understand what was going on. I had to walk out of the theater and Google everything to figure out what happened in this movie, and I'm like, were you not watching? What do you like? It's a pretty simple storyline that I predicted about 20 minutes into the movie what was going to happen. So unless you were like actually dead, you should have been able to figure out what was going on in this movie.
I skipped it because the director, although he did the classic Gears of War Mad World commercial, he did Tron Legacy, and that movie sucked. So when Oblivion came out, I'm like, I'm going to wait to see this. However, he's since done, of course, the classic Taco Bell Web of Fries commercial with Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
But he also did the new Top Gun, which I really liked, and some movie called Spiderhead. I think my friend Adam saw that. So I'm like, I did really like Top Gun. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll go back and check out Oblivion. Tron Legacy, that was his first movie. They probably shouldn't have trusted a big franchise as someone's first movie, but I'll go back and I'll give it a shot. So there you go.
Oblivion is also why we have things like The Mandalorian, because they built the like main house set. They built it on this 360-degree video screen set.
Oh
so
yeah,
that
it was like
realistic lighting.
it was like one of the early ones to do that, right?
It was the first one, and then
Yeah, because I know Nolan did that for Interstellar, like outside the ship, he had like
Mm-hmm.
screens projecting.
yeah, and so Tom Cruise was like, basically was like, all the lighting in Tron Legacy looks like shit because it's all done on a green screen. We're
Yeah.
not doing that. I want everything to be glass, and I want there to be reflections in the glass. Fucking figure it out. I'm Tom fucking Cruise, and I guess they invented that system, which now made like all sci-fi much more.
Yeah.
Possible.
I mean, it's really like, if you think about it, it's just an updated form of rear projection. It's not like it's a new concept. It's just the technology is way better than rear projection was.
and it emits light as opposed
Yes.
to being. So you get like there are all these gorgeous shots like outside the house looking in, and you see the sky reflected in the windows, and it looks real because in a sense it is real.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was. I guess they went to some volcano in Hawaii and just like ran cameras for 3 days straight.
That's cool.
And then used that to make the skies in this movie.
I did get annoyed when I saw the poster of the Empire State Building like built into a mountain.
Yeah.
And I was like, bullshit, that building would have crumbled long before a mountain grew over it.
Yeah, the Empire State Building is like, it's just the upper observation deck and the spire, and it's just sitting on the ground. Just.
Oh, on the poster, it's got a waterfall next to it. It's on the side of the mountain.
I think there is a chasm nearby.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't.
I've been to New York. I don't know how many chasms are gonna. That was my favorite thing when I started going to New York regularly and looking at the Empire State Building. I'm like, I looked at it the one day and I was like, Independence Day lied. There's no road leading up to the Empire State Building. It's in the middle of a street. I'm like, I don't think Independence Day is accurate, Tab. I think they might have made.
Don't you shit on Independence Day. That has Independence Day has. There should be an Oscar for greatest movie extra of all time.
Oh, the
And
guy.
That guy is number one, and number two is Big Organ Guy in Rhinestone, who is also the director of the film.
Okay, good.
So I guess maybe that should win an Academy Award for the best director
Bob
team
Clark.
of all time. Yeah,
Bob Clark should have gotten it. I agree.
director of Black Christmas.
Christmas, yes.
Speaking of New York, I kind of live in New York in a sense because they filmed Escape from New York in St. Louis because it was
That's
the
true.
only place that looked shitty enough. Yeah, we need a real shitty rundown looking. Hey, St. Louis, we don't even have to build anything new. We'll just
Well, the thing is, New York at the time did look shitty, but also there was like criminals around, so they're like, yeah, let's St. Louis is probably a little bit better.
Tony, there are criminals here too. There's a lot of them.
Okay,
A man
okay.
was shot in the street just miles from my home last week.
But I mean, in the 80s, I don't know, maybe it was worse in New York,
I doubt it.
and they were like, yeah, St. Louis might be a little bit better than this.
But yeah, that my week's been pretty much. I just spent all of last week just sitting and doing nothing while at work, while this show happened around me that was a huge waste of everyone's time and effort. And
Oh,
so
good.
that was pretty demoralizing. I worked 50 hours doing fucking nothing, which is
Yeah.
more exhausting than doing breaking labor. Like if I had worked 8 or 12 days straight of just like work, that'd be tiring. But then just being like, all right, we need lighting. All right, we're done with lighting. You're now basically a light switch. When we need lights switched on or off, we'll shout at you. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. It's a tremendously good use of my time.
Ooh. I've been constantly doing something because I technically don't have my job anymore. Hack the Movies is now my full-time job, but I had to rebuild the set and record a ton of episodes. And now I'm editing them while I'm about to move out of this apartment, and I got to record more episodes. So it's just nonstop over here.
Yeah, I feel you.
After the live show, I think things might calm down a little bit.
I'm just trying to make it till May. If I get to the end of May, it's going to be smooth sailing until September.
Yep.
Anyway, well, are you ready to jump into some issues?
I am.
What is your issue this week, Tony?
Here's what I don't get. This can I got wasn't filled all the way, and it's factory sealed, and now it's all like messed up. How does that even happen? I don't get it.
I don't know.
That's not really my issue. That's something I noticed today. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? No, here's what I don't get. When you're watching a whodunit and you guess the killer like really quick, and then it kind of kills some of the excitement for you for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So I saw the new Scream movie last night, and I enjoyed the Scream. I enjoy all the Scream movies. I think they're a good time.
First three.
Yeah, 3 I always thought was the weakest, but that's because there were issues
4
with
hadn't
the.
come out yet.
Yeah, no, 4 I love 4. 4 is great. No, 3 got fucked over because of Columbine, and they make a joke about it in the movie. They started cracking down on like violence in movies, so they weren't allowed to be as violent as they wanted to, and there were supposed to be 2 killers as always, but then the script leaked online, so then they had to make like last minute rewrites. But no, I usually really like the Scream movies. They're fun parodies of like tropes and modern trends. And the last one was a lot of fun. And this new one was a lot of fun. But the thing is, I usually with Scream, I like to guess who the killer is. It's fun. And usually I don't know except for 3 because my friend at the time was an asshole and spoiled it for me. But usually you're able to, there's usually one that you can actually figure out is the killer. And then they kind of give you a curveball with the second one. But no, Scream the other night, the one girl says like one line of dialogue, and then I figured out who the killer was. I still enjoyed the movie, but I was just like, oh man, I hope I'm wrong, because now I'm just kind of waiting for my prediction to happen. Like I'm like 100% sure it's them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit when you're watching. You ever experienced that watching a whodunit?
Not watching, but so I read all the Jack Reacher books. So I did the audiobooks of them over the last few years, and there was one of them that was. It's the only one that I did the one time and never revisited. Anytime I've like gone back and because I think I've listened to him 2 or 3 times now. But when I go back, I'm just like I'm skipping that one, and I don't remember what the name of the book is off the top of my head. But the killer is a hypnotist lady, and so it's a direct sequel. It's a sequel to this one, the one before it, which is Tripwire, and Tripwire is really, really great. And then this one opens up, and he's like, he lives in owns a house, and he has a girlfriend, and he's like just hanging out, and then he gets roped into this investigation by the FBI, who profiles him as the, as the right type for the killer, and it turns out he's not the killer, so they make him a consultant on the case, and so like 3 chapters in the book, I was like, oh, it's this bitch hypnotist lady that's really because the ladies. The descriptions of the killings are all done in this weird like ethereal voice, and then this bitch is like, I really want to hypnotize you, Jack Reacher. I need to hypnotize you. I need to hypnotize you. And I'm like, this bitch is trying to hypnotize Reacher to make him the killer. She's the killer, and then it turns out she's the killer at the end. And I was like, wow, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I joked about it. We reviewed Valentine recently, not My Bloody Valentine, Valentine. And I remember like because that came out like during the big Scream craze, and I remember being in school and seeing like a poster for it. And I'd just thinking to myself, oh yeah, David Boreanaz is the killer. Like before the movie even came out, just looking at the poster, I'm like, he's definitely. And sure enough, he's the killer at the end of that movie.
I hate watching a movie with someone that that tries to guess, and
Yeah.
So the thing about those guesses, right, is you have to just keep them to yourself.
Yeah.
But you'll watch a movie with someone sometimes, and they'll be like, "I bet that's the killer. I bet that's the killer. I bet
Yeah.
that's the killer." And you're just like, that is the point of these scenes. We're supposed to think
Yes.
that these people are the killer.
I
Based on
did-
these scenes.
I because I was with Johanna watching it because we're gonna cover it on our wrap up show, and I did like pick out my like choices, and then I kind of stopped it there. I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure it's that guy. Let's see, or like that person or those people. I'm like, let's see what happens here. But yeah, no, I have watched movies with people who are like, is that the killer? Is that the killer? Is that the killer? I'm like, why don't you just fucking watch? It's supposed to be a mystery.
It's the same. It's the same type of person that asks you questions about, like, why is that guy chopping up a body? I don't know. I'm watching this movie for the first time too. Can you shut the fuck up?
My favorite is there was an Onion article, and it's like, man assures his girlfriend that all her questions will be answered if she just watches the movie. But yeah, no, because I really like whodunit, so then I feel kind of guilty that I guessed it right, because I'm like, it's worse when you guess it way too early, because then it's just like, I'm kind of missing out on the fun of looking for clues and stuff, because I kind of already figured it out. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it just kind of sucks the joy out of it. There was one movie recently that I really enjoyed called The Pale Blue Eye with Christian Bale. It's about Christian Bale as a detective, and he has to team up with a young Edgar Allan Poe. It's a period piece, not a time travel piece, and they have to look for a killer. And I didn't even really think it was a whodunit at first. I thought they were just looking for a killer, and then I was like, oh, this is a whodunit, and that one gave me a big curveball. So yeah, I really enjoy whodunits and like the Scream movies, but yeah, the other night I was like, oh man, I'm missing out on part of the fun of the movie because I spoiled it for myself because I'm an asshole who watches too many of these movies. And I know what to look for.
I don't think that's a slight on you. I think it's a slight on the writers. Like you have to have, there has to be subtlety. Like we all need that Poirot big reveal moment where we've done all the questioning, we've come up with our own theories, and then he sits down, everyone down, and he's like, all right, here's what happened. Here's my theory. And then you're like, oh my God, I am now.
I will say it was really just one line of dialogue that just pieced it all together for me. And I'm like, man, if they rephrased that differently or rewrote just that part, I don't think I would have gotten it. Yeah. But other than that, I like, did you see the last one, Scream 5, the one that made fun of soft reboots?
No, I think the last one I saw was the one where the killer hit her niece or
yeah, that was the one that made fun of remakes. The last one made fun of the soft reboots that try to be like the original. Oh, I thought you were gonna sneeze.
I thought so too.
And this one kind of makes fun of just like franchise movies in general. Like, you know how Jurassic World was only kind of acknowledging the first movie, and then the sequels they start acknowledging all of them. Scream 6 does that, where like the last one was just kind of focused on the first movie. Scream 6, they find the killer's warehouse, and it's just Easter eggs from all them. Apparently the killer has been stealing evidence from all the previous murders. I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun. It's fun.
Speaking of Jurassic World, they're finally releasing Lego sets of the original Jurassic Park movies. Like everyone's been asking for since that first fucking movie came out in 2015 or something.
Dude, I used to have the Jurassic Park 3 Lego sets. That shit was fun.
Yeah. With the with that being the writer's fault, that is the dumbing down of movies these days. Is that anybody with any amount of like logic or understanding of how scripts work and who's well read enough, you're able to more and more. Like when I watched Oblivion, I'm watching that movie and I was like, oh, I know what sci-fi trope movie this is, and then I was right, and I was like, okay, and so I was just waiting for basically the reveal to happen during the course of the whole movie to be like, oh, That's what it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna cover it more on my channel this month, but like that movie You're Next, people really like You're Next. And I think one of my issues with that movie is like in the beginning I kind of figured out what was going on way too early again, so then I'm just kind of like waiting for the things to happen. I'm like, I'm not enjoying it the right way. I'm not enjoying it the right way because they showed their hand too early. We need more movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer and the original Friday the 13th, where waste 2 hours of your time thinking it's a whodunit, and at the end it's like, oh, it's just some random person. And I was like, what the fuck were all the red herrings for? You can't just pull out a random person at the end of the movie. What the fuck?
I used to think that Friday the 13th Part 1 was one of the worst movies ever made. But, it's really moved up the list, but not by it actually getting better, but like so many things just piling in below it.
I really enjoy Friday the 13th, but it's funny when you watch it, it's like, oh, it is structured like a whodunit, and there's red herrings, and then it's just like, it's not even like if she had been in the movie earlier, just some old lady shows up 15 minutes to the end. She's like, by the way, my son's around here. I'm a killer.
Here's all the exposition about why I'm doing this. Yeah.
But then I Know What You Did Last Summer did the same thing where there's all these red herrings. And then it's like, by the way, that guy you think you ran over, you didn't run over him. I murdered him. And then you ran over me. And I'm pissed off because I'm a murderer. And now I'm going to murder you guys. And they're like, we did a whole investigation into this kid that we thought we killed and all the motives. And it turns out it's just, we accidentally ran over a murderer.
Back to the script side of it. Like,
yeah.
I do think that you have a duty as a creative to, when you're making that kind of story, you have to like protect the audience from finding out too much, because I think Tim and I have talked about this before. With those kind of mysteries, you need to either be one step ahead of your heroes or one step behind. If you're too far ahead, it's not enjoyable. If they show up at the end and they're like, I'm the Jason's mother, and that's not satisfying as a mystery either, because you're 11 steps behind on those. So like a few years ago, I did Mousetrap, which is an Agatha Christie stage play murder mystery, and so there's a murder that's talked about on the radio, and then there's a murder at the end of Act 1, and then Act 2 is them trying to solve that murder. And the play is like 3.5 hours long. It's fucking miserable. But when that murder happens, the guy has to walk out. And so I have my mixing console set up, and it has all different labels of what everyone's names are. And so when we got to the murder scene, a couple of scenes before it, everybody's name disappeared. As they left the stage, their names would disappear off the console. And then in the scene when the murder actually happened, it was a different fader. It was just cloning the original fader for the killer, but it was a different fader that I then fade up so that we could hear him whistling, I think. And in doing that, it was like my way if someone was walking past me and not be like, oh, the police officer's the killer. It's right there on your console. You know what else they need to do? They need to do what the Clue movie did and just put out a movie with 3 different endings.
That
they should do that, but then instead of doing what the Clue movie did, they should make a good one.
Yeah, I love Clue. What are you talking about? Clue is fine.
Kill me.
Clue is fine.
Fucking 3.5 hours of my life I'll never get back.
It's not that long. You think every movie you don't like is 3.5 hours?
Yeah, because they're bad. I'm gonna go home and fuck my wife. So hilarious, Michael McKean.
Yeah, that was good.
Why don't you go smash your fucking head into a photocopier countertop and then start to bleed out until your brother saves your life? Then you try and punish him in a court of law where it gets proven that you're a crazy motherfucker, so you burn to death in a fire. How about that, Michael McKean?
Oh, shit, is that Better Call Saul? Is that how that ended?
That is his character arc in Better Call Saul.
Oh, shit, I only watched the first season, Tab. I haven't gotten around to finishing it.
Well, it's been out for 6 years, so...
But it just ended this year. I thought I'd go through it finally.
Spoiler alert, he becomes Saul Goodman.
Oh, what? No!
Jimmy McGill is Saul Goodman.
I'm upset because the first episode, I guessed he was going to be Saul Goodman because it was the same actor, and it started off with the with the future set after Breaking Bad. And I'm like, I bet you this Jimmy guy is Saul Goodman. And also because of Breaking Bad, I think he mentioned that his name used to be Jimmy. And that's how I figured out
his
that.
name's McGill, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Whodunits. It's annoying when you guess who they are right away. And to Scream's credit, the new one, they do something to kind of throw you off. But because I'm so smart, I knew it was a fake out. So that's it.
Yeah, maybe
I'll give him credit.
Up on those, because
I'll give him credit, dude. They delivered on Ghostface in New York, unlike the classic example of Jason Takes Manhattan, where he's just not in fucking Manhattan.
So, that's a great. What a bad movie that was.
You literally get fucking Ghostface in a bodega with a shotgun just blowing people away. It's fucking awesome.
That's weird. Yeah, I might have to revisit this. So this one's not directed by Wes Craven, right?
Well, he's dead, so no. They got two new guys directing this one and the previous one.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
No, but they're fun. Like, if you because soft reboots are so annoying, and that's what the last one was making fun of. That I'm like, all right, this is really enjoyable. And people were upset with some of this stuff. They're like, why did they call it Scream and not Scream 5? I'm like, they literally have a joke about that in the movie. Like guys, can you just relax? Scream is just here to parody what's going on in the horror genre. Stop wanting it to be like a normal slasher.
Is Sidney Prescott still the heroine?
She was in 5, and then the studio didn't want to pay her what she wanted for Scream 6, so they wrote her out of Scream 6.
Is Courtney?
Yes, she is in all of them still, and she had way too much plastic surgery done. Just way too much plastic surgery.
Yeah.
What's his fate?
Prescott was supposed to be 18 in the original movie, so she's got to be 50 now. And she's still being chased by these killers.
I did like finally the new one. The killer just doesn't they're not interested in Sydney. They're like, that's not what we're about. We don't care about that. They probably learned. They're like, oh, wait a minute. 5 or 6 people tried to kill her and they all died. Let's just leave her out of our plan this time.
That would be, because every Friday the 13th movie opens with Jason killing the final girl from the last movie.
Kind of. 2 did. Part 2 did, yeah.
I think part 3 did too, didn't it? Or part
No,
3?
Part 3, they slap her in an ambulance and she just goes away. We never see her again. Yeah. There's a dream sequence at the end of 2 where he attacks her. No, but 2, he definitely kills the previous girl. Yeah. And also, did you ever see the Maniac Cop movies?
I did not.
Oh yeah, Maniac Cop. Now that's a killer in New York that's done really well. I only seen the first 2. Apparently 3 sucks. But Maniac Cop 2, I love there's this kind of fake out where you think the survivors from the first movie are the main characters again. 10-15 minutes of the movie, it turns out that is not the case. But yeah. I enjoy the new Screams. I don't know if you'll like them, but I thought they're fun.
Probably not.
They could have been.
I hate everything.
Apparently hate everything. It is funny seeing David Arquette in it because they had to give him baggy clothes because in real life he's jacked because he's been wrestling. But they're like, we can't have a Jack Dewey. Put him in some baggy clothes. Ugh. But that's it. That's my issue.
Still wasn't he have a stroke or something where he's all limping around? Is he still?
Yeah, I remember they made
stem cells and been magically cured.
Yeah, I think they mentioned in one movie that he had therapy or something. But yeah, he's back to not super fucked up, but he's not great. They call it out. They're like, yeah, you've been fuck. Or no, he has a line because they're doing the classic The Force Awakens, join us on the adventure, and he's like, I've been stabbed 9 times. I don't want to do this.
That is true, because he's gotten fucked up in most of those movies.
Yeah, he really does.
Does Jamie Kennedy have a cameo? Because he had a cameo in the 3rd one, I remember.
Yeah, no. His sister comes back in 5, and she has twins, and they're the new Randys, so that's what they did there. They have in their house, they have the Randy Meeks Memorial Home Theater, and there's pictures of young Jamie Kennedy, and that's as much as they could do. That was pretty funny in Scream 3, the video recording. All right, you're starting to... I'm like, I can suspend my disbelief, but this is a little too good.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, that brings us to the middle of our episode, which means it's time for...
This episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by...
Well, Tony, you know what movie is big in the theaters? At least I assume it's big in the theaters because I don't actually pay attention to what's going on in movie theaters.
What's that?
Cocaine Bear.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's based on a true story, you know.
Oh, I know. The true story is very disappointing. I know the true story.
Well, we have a real life sequel to Cocaine Bear. An exotic cat was found roaming a U.S. neighborhood on cocaine and was rescued and is recovering at a zoo. Authorities could have been forgiven for thinking they were witnessing a real life sequel to the recently released Cocaine Bear after the distressed Serval, a wildcat native to Africa, was found to have the Class A drug in his system following a toxicology report. The animal had escaped from the car of its owner, who was being arrested by police, before it ran loose in the Cincinnati business district of Oakley. It was eventually helped down from a tree by authorities with the assistance of Animal Care, a shelter and rescue center. But when they were unable to prevent the cat from breaking a leg, they were on it anyway. Yeah, so
They put it down,
be
or
a new movie, Cocaine Cat.
wait, how'd the cat get the cocaine? I'm a little confused here.
I don't fucking know. Doesn't say anything about it. I
Wait.
assume it was in the car of the criminal.
Okay, did he give the cat cocaine? Did it just smell the cocaine and want to take it? Because we know how the Cocaine Bear found cocaine. A drug smuggler. Yeah, a drug smuggler knocked it out of an airplane.
Isn't it the same drug smuggler that Tom Cruise plays in American Made? Aren't those two stories connected?
I don't know. I didn't look that up. I didn't see that movie. Was that any good?
It is. It's a Tom Cruise movie, so it was watchable.
Okay, so it's at least watchable.
Like that's the thing. He doesn't. Like their Mummy is bad, but aside from that, has he been in any bad movies? He's been in movies that aren't great. Like the War of the Worlds isn't great, but you could watch it.
It's got enough good scenes to keep you going. Yeah.
Spread out over way too long of a runtime.
Yeah. The ending with the kid coming back, it's like, can we just have some stakes, Spielberg? Not everything needs a super happy ending.
Tell that to Schindler's List.
Yeah, Spielberg, you really can't, like, it's like, look, I know you either go super depressing or super happy, but it's like, you can be in the middle sometimes, Spielberg. It's not that bad. But no, I like how they're like, the cops would have been excused for thinking it was a sequel, and it's like, what? So the cops are arresting a guy, and then a cat jumps out of his car on cocaine, and they're like, this must be the sequel to Cocaine Bear. There's no cameras or film crew, but I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah. That's just cheeky muckraker writing that is like super cringeworthy and makes you want to kill yourself. Yeah,
I really wanted to do heroin hyena, but someone pointed out it would just be a hyena like taking a nap, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that wouldn't be exciting. It'd be a drama. It's like the hyena's on heroin again. We got to kick him off this.
It'll be like it's Ray, but with a hyena. And Jamie Foxx can still play the role.
He can voice the hyena.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear was a good time.
I looked at Tom Cruise's IMDb just now. He does have a bad movie.
What?
The Outsiders. Fuck you, S.C. Hinton, and fuck Royal Rogers High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Fucking shitbox of a school. Lucky it didn't get torn down.
Seems like you might have a personal grudge with this particular film, Tab.
We had to like read the. Did you not have to read The Outsiders?
I never had to read it.
Oh, geez.
I've seen the movie like a long time ago, but
it was
I can't
a
recall
super
it.
popular book in high schools to make everyone read it for like a generation.
Yeah.
And then I think about our generation of school, they stopped making that a thing. But we were still reading it in Tulsa because The Outsiders takes place right across the fucking street at Will Rogers High School. And it's just like, I don't fucking care. We watched the movie.
It's for Coppola Classic.
Base Brian says Rain Man is a terrible movie. I disagree.
I don't know about that. I thought the movie was okay.
I thought that movie was pretty great.
Yeah.
I forgot to get rid of the episode things.
Jesus Christ, I didn't see yours. God damn it.
I was going to make yours Rape Whistle Repairman, but you already had that one.
Did you see the hip piece video someone made as a joke?
No.
Oh, dude, they made a video. They took a bunch of jokes I made out of context, and they made like a CNN hit piece. But then, like episodes like this that are like through StreamYard, they made it look like I was talking to Jordan Peterson and like all these other people. They like made it at the end. It's me on the set, and like I'm there with Kanye West and Alex Jones. It was really fucking funny.
That is pretty funny.
But you're just giving them more material, man.
Speaking of animal news, a man was taken to the hospital Sunday afternoon after a zebra attacked him in Pickaway County, Ohio. According to the incident report from the Pickaway County Sheriff's Office, deputies were sent around 5:30 p.m. to a fenced-in field after reports that a man was seriously injured by a zebra that he owned. As deputies arrived, they say they saw the victim lying on the ground with his right arm covered with a sleeve. He had it bitten off by the zebra.
Oh yeah, I heard like horses and whatnot. They're kind of like they're almost omnivores. Like they can eat meat, not often, but
They do say that he'll be able to reattach the arm, which is crazy.
oh good. I like that
The
they
zebra was shot in the head due to its continued aggressive behavior. So, happy ending there.
You think the zebra was aggressive because it realized it was in Ohio? It was like I gotta
get
looking
the
at
fuck out of here.
It's looking at like all the greenery and stuff. It's like I don't like these trees and shit. I don't feel like this is my vibe at all.
What kind of people have like Servals on cocaine? This zebra was probably on something as well.
Well,
Xanax zebra. But
I
it
don't
has,
know if you
a
saw
weird opposite effect for it.
I don't know if you saw the Tiger King documentary.
I did not.
Well, they
also
yeah.
in Oklahoma, just like 30 minutes south of where I went to school.
Yeah, but no, like I know they mostly focus on the Tiger King, but they do touch on like there's people all over the country that have this shit. And like the one story they told was really sad, where the guy had like 70 tigers and a bear and a lion, and then like he killed himself after he let most of them go, and then they just went into the then like it was sad because the police are like, we have nowhere to hold, like we don't know how much to trank, so they had to just murder all these tigers and shit because they're like, we don't have enough resources to trank them all. They'll probably die anyway because we don't know what to dose them for. But yeah, they're all over the country.
When that show Tiger King was out and new in the pandemic and everyone was talking about it, I had a bet with Randy, Randy from the Dick Show, and I was like, I'll make a bet with you right now. I'm gonna wait a period of time, but one day I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna say, hey, you remember that show Tiger King? And it will be the you will not have thought about this show for months. And he was like, no, this show it's got legs. People are going to remember it. And I was like, okay. And I waited about 4 months. And I was like, hey, remember that show Tiger King? He's like, no, I forgot all about it. Like, you fucking right you did. Because it's just another fucking fad.
Yeah. It was weird that they made the movie. They made a movie version. And everyone's like, well, I feel like the Netflix version kind of covered it. I feel like we're all entertained. And also, you didn't cast Nicolas Cage in the movie, which is what people wanted. So we're not watching it. I know they did a second season on the other guy, but he wasn't as interesting. But yeah, there's just people all over the country with fucking animals they probably shouldn't have because they're weird. Why did the guy have 70 tigers? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I do like that some were still in the cage, and I remember watching it with my ex, and I'm like, well, why did you leave some of them in a cage? And she was like, well, by the time like the 60th tiger got out, things probably got a little out of hand. He's like, okay, this is too much. It just blew his brains out. Like I'd probably be like, hey, you know what? I think I'm good.
I've got one last news story here from Illinois, and this is a debate for the ages. An Illinois man is filing a class action lawsuit against Buffalo Wild Wings, the restaurant chain, alleging that their boneless wings are chicken nuggets.
I had that thought recently. Where do you fall on that?
Tim and I have had that discussion as well. I mean, they're chicken nuggets, but they're good, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No, they are great. They are great. I mean, I like bones sometimes, but sometimes I don't want to like. Sometimes I just want to use a fork. I don't want to get hot sauce all over my hands. Boneless, boom.
Never is a bone in anything superior, except for ribeyes.
No.
Basically, the only time a bone in is superior to a non-bone in. Yeah, this is a clear-cut case of false advertising and should not be permitted, as consumers should be able to rely on the plain meaning of a product's name and receive that what they are promised, the lawsuit states. Yeah, you're receiving boneless buffalo wings, you fucking moron. What are you expecting that's different?
Yeah. This should be a case where like the court is like, So you're technically right. They are chicken nuggets, but who the fuck cares? Like,
We're sentencing
who-
you to 10 million years in the cuck shed.
I'm sentencing you to death for wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is like, it's false advertising because you're not receiving. What does he want? He wants like a chicken wing that someone's already stripped the bone out of, and you get this like nasty misshapen mush thing. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Here's your boneless buffalo wing, sir. You fucking
Yeah.
moron. Like, I can't. Yes, I'm suing. I can't believe it's not butter because it's margarine, not butter. Like, yeah, it says that on the
Yeah.
label, dipshit.
Tab, you think this will help or hurt my lawsuit against Red Lobster? Because shellfish, it turns out they're not fish.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was let down. When I ordered my lobster, I wanted to know where the gills were, where the scales were. I was really let down by that.
Next thing you'll be suing because like, oh, I bought these fish sticks, but there are no stick fishes that these come from. This is just Atlantic cod that's processed. Are you kidding me? Do you know what you call a minister to fish?
What?
A cod pastor. Thank you. I'll be here. all week.
Okay. I went to eat a coconut crab.
Yeah.
Didn't have any coconuts in it. I was real upset by that.
Yes. Where is my coconut shreds with this? Like
Yeah,
a
I was-
coconut cream pie.
What the fuck? I got so mad. And then I decided to calm down. I was like, you know what? Let me play some horseshoes with a horseshoe crab. They're not horseshoes. They're just weird looking crabs.
I don't even think they're technically crabs. They're like some kind of Paleozoic monster that has just lasted for 60 million years.
Zephysaura. Oh yeah, I guess they're like, yeah, they're closer to arachnids, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're arthropods. They're arthropods, kind of, but yeah.
This carrot cake does not count as my daily intake of vegetables. Are you kidding me? It's mostly
Yeah,
brown
what the
sugar and
fuck?
nutmeg. What the fuck? This is
You're
false advertising, you fuck.
You're telling me this green leaf I have here, I'm expecting a big frozen piece of ice in the ocean, but it's just a green leaf. This isn't iceberg lettuce. What the fuck?
So I'm also suing Popeye because I've been eating cans of spinach and I have not gotten massive swollen forearms. Someone's getting a lawsuit from that.
I sued Hanna-Barbera because every time Scooby-Doo eats a Scooby snack, he's still alive. Wouldn't he be eating himself since he's Scooby and would be in the snack?
I don't know. I don't know what the Scooby snack.
How much longer can we go on in this bit, making it more ridiculous?
Scooby Doo doesn't even exist anymore.
That's true.
Anyway, well, this has been
Ricada News Network is definitely not fake news.
and that takes care of our legal obligations this week, Tony. But you know what it doesn't take care of?
What's that?
More lawsuits about false advertising. And speaking of false advertising, you can visit us at subscribestar.com/HWIDG, tip.hwidg.com, and patreon.com/HWIDG. And over there, we have 5 tiers. We have the $1 tier, which gets you early access to each week's episode and our monthly minisodes. You and Buck did one of those that I still need to edit. I'm just going to try and do that this week.
That's not out yet, you son of a bitch.
I don't have fucking time, man. I can't do them at work like I used to be able to.
Look. Just a heads up. It's going to be pretty scary. The devil's in it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we have Jesus on this episode to balance it
Yeah.
out.
Edit it during the daytime or you're going to be really scared when the devil shows up.
Are you talking about me? Am I the devil?
No. I literally had the devil on the show.
And then we have our $2 tier where we throw some random bits and bobs. Joel and I did a catch-up episode just talking about like some behind baseball stuff. We have our $5 tier. We do our monthly bonus episodes. Here's what I do get. We drop the hate and talk about what's great. Got one of those coming up soon. We have our $10 tier where we do our monthly movie commentaries. You submit and vote on what we watch, and we watch it, record a feature length commentary. And then finally, we have our $50 Spite Producer tier, where you get a say in the show. You can ask for a special format or a special episode. We had a request to get the guys from No Agenda on for episode 333, and I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. But there was another request in there for a special episode that I'm gonna try and do, and I'll have to talk about with you about it off
Okay.
the air. But I think it'll be great in the lead up to the April event that Tony and I are both going to be attending.
Oh,
In
fun.
Philadelphia. So
Fun.
yeah, keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thank you to all our patrons and subscribe star supporters and people who've sent us tips on tip.hbidg.com. You help make the show possible. We wouldn't still be doing it without your generous support. So thank you to everyone. Hope you keep on supporting the show. But let's get back
Do
to
it.
some issues. Here's what I don't get. Recruitment portals.
But okay, I kind of have an idea of what this is, but let me know.
Well, Tony, you just said you left your full-time job to become a YouTuber, so you're going to be learning all about this in about 3 months.
Son of a bitch! How long have you been sitting on that one, you asshole?
No, so have you ever? You probably haven't dealt with Indeed. Like, when's the last time you applied for a job?
Oh no! Yeah, all right. So the last time I was unemployed, like around 2015, 2016, between the TV show and my editing job, I did go on Indeed, and guess how many jobs it helped me get?
A big fat zero.
0. Guess how many, just by coincidence, robocallers and spam callers I got after signing up to Indeed?
About 6 million.
Yes, I did. No, I didn't get many job opportunities, but I did get, coincidentally, a day after I put my phone number into Indeed and submit for stuff, I got a bunch of robocalls. So
Yeah, and then not to mention the emails. Like I got 17
Yeah.
emails. So Indeed is this portal, and all that really does exist is to like harvest your data between you getting to an employer, and then what they've done is they've tricked employers into being like, we'll give you the best candidates, and then you don't have to like have an HR or a hiring manager. You can just post this shit up on Indeed, and then we'll give you the candidates that we like. So the Glass Studio here in town, they posted a job on they posted a job listing on their Instagram, like, hey, look, we're looking to hire a venue coordinator part-time, 10 to 20 hours a week. And I would like to get my foot in the door with them. And more importantly, I'd like to get some discounted shop time, which I would hope that as an employee, you would get some amount of shop time at a discount. So I was like, well, maybe I'll it's venue management is basically the same as being like a technical director, except with way less fucking headache and safety issues.
yeah.
So I went and followed the link, and it was to fucking Indeed, and you had to apply through Indeed. So then it's like, well, now you got to sign up for an Indeed account and create a resume on Indeed. But then when you apply for a job, it's like, oh, well, you can just upload your resume. Like, why didn't I fucking do that to begin with?
I hate that shit with applications where they make you submit everything. It's like, and then it's like, attach your resume. I'm like, can I just attach the resume? Do I need to fill out everything? You're not going to read it.
And then the worst part is, right, so I try and click through to this job listing, and it's like, well, we looked at your stuff, and nothing in here says event management. And so, are you sure you're qualified for this job? It's a part-time babysitting gig. I'm more than qualified for this fucking job. I got a fucking master's degree in fucking around and not doing anything. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So, what's frustrating about these kinds of portals is that they're really stacked against you, the person applying. And so, so I go through the whole rigmarole of applying for this fucking thing. And then it's like, in order to get through to this, you also have to take this test. And we've all had a retail job at some point where there were like either a math test to see if you can make change, or one of those tests where it's like a personality test where it's like, how do you work with a group? It's like, Tony, you're working on a project, and Sally comes in and says that she needs more time on the project. Do you A, work without a compromise to have the best amount of time but still meet the deadline for her needs? B, tell her, fuck you, bitch, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking kill you and your whole fucking family. Get the fuck out of here with that fucking bullshit. C, sexually harass her. And you're just like, there's so obviously a correct answer here.
Tab,
Who is this for?
I don't I don't think I've ever seen that on my applications. Also, sorry for the air raid siren going off again.
Someone's bombing Philly.
Someone's bombing Philly again. I'm almost out of Silent Hill. In a month, I'll never be in Silent Hill again.
It'd be really funny to just remove you from the stream for a minute and just be like, Tony's dead. So I take this test that was supposed to be like attention to detail. So they give you like these charts. Like one of them was like 6 names, and then it had their ages, and then it had whether or not they had been selected. But you're not allowed to select anyone under 21. And then it was like, who has been selected that shouldn't be selected? And you just go down this little list, and you're like, Todd, 20, selected. And then you click Todd. And you go like, Sarah, 20, selected. And you click Sarah. And that's the correct answer, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was just 20 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. And the most amazing part was, then at the end, it's like, do you have any feedback for Indeed about this test? And I was like, oh, yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, I do.
It's a waste of time.
And I was like, I fucking hate you people. You have just inserted yourself between like a candidate and the job opportunity with this ridiculous test that no one could possibly get the questions wrong. It's like there is a timed element to this test. You have to do it. Each question gets 3 minutes. Even if I had to fucking sound the words out, I would be done with that test in the time, every question in the time limit. I'm just like, this is just a huge waste of my fucking time, and I hate all of you.
And you're right. They are just data harvesting. And I guess it works for enough people where it's not labeled as an outright scam. Like, it must work for people. But
it works for the employer. It doesn't work for the employees, because what the employer gets, right, is they get like an email. And I know this because I have to use a website for my current job to post jobs to people. And so someone applies and I get this email, and then I'll just let them sit and pile up 5, 6 candidates, and then I'll export all 6 candidates at once. I get one big document, and it's their resumes, it's their stuff they've written in their cover letters, it's all that shit just in one big thing. And then I just go through and I'm like, that one looks good, that one looks good, that one looks good, that one looks good. It's good for on the employer side because it auto filters things. If someone doesn't pass this test where it's like very simple questions, it just makes them disappear. It doesn't tell you that it's made you disappear. You just not in the queue. And so you're just in there sending and sending and sending. And then it works for Indeed in that they harvest a ton of data, and then they start harassing you about stupid shit that you don't need. But it's also broken because so I submitted the application like before lunchtime today.
Yeah.
I heard back from them before 3 p.m. and I have an interview scheduled before 5 p.m. all on the same day because like I'm a competent human being. That's the way this stuff should theoretically work. A friend of mine was applying for a job, and so he has an Indeed profile. And the thing about the Indeed profile is you're supposed to be able to build your profile, and then if you find a job that you qualify for, you just click a button, and it's an instant apply. Just sends that shit straight to him. And so he has an Indeed profile, and he's looking for, jobs at a higher level than his current level, right? Throughout the industry. And so one of these jobs pops up. He goes to apply for it on Indeed. It says instant apply through Indeed, pushes the button, and then it's like, oh, we need you to do a bunch of other shit. And he was just like, fuck that. And he signed out of it. But I guess it still sent the info to them because then they called him a couple of weeks later and set up an interview for a thing. Or maybe they just found his profile. It's hard to say. But they lie to you and tell you like, oh, you put in all this information because employers will just go on. Like, I'm an employer and I'm on Indeed and I'm just like, I have this job opportunity.
Yeah.
Send me a list of candidates for me to cold call them. Like, why the fuck would I do that as an employer? I also hate it because I feel like employment is inherently broken in that unless when you have a job that takes a technical level of like a level of expertise that needs to be required, you don't really need like a long application process. Like my job, where you have to have a college degree and you have to have so many years of experience and you have to like be able to prove that and you have to interface with people.
Yeah.
That was a whole application process. That made sense to me. I applied, I talked to him, I interviewed in person, then I got a job offer. Like much more rigorous and structured. When you have a job like clerk at Quick Trip or working at something where it's just like your cattle basically, there's really no need to interview. Do you have a car that you can show up here? Can you breathe? You're hired.
I was gonna say, can you speak English? But sometimes it's like, can you just understand a little bit of English?
Yeah. And so I feel
Hey,
like
you're hired.
a lot of employers will like throw up these artificial obstacles. And I know part of it is the cost to the employer by having like a large workforce. But so when I was running the union in Tulsa, we had an application page. You'd fill out the application, your information would pop up on my computer. And then usually within about a week, you'd get a call that was like, hey, are you available to work this call? Let's fill out your paperwork and onboard you. And then you're hired. And if you showed up to one call, that was great. If you liked it and you kept coming back, that was even better. But rather than looking at all these things and being like, no, fuck this person, it's just like, we need as many people as possible. Fucking hire them all. Maybe they'll surprise you. I've been doing that in this current job now. People apply and they're like, yeah, I want to be a theater technician. I'm like, great, you're hired. We'll put you on the list. I have a handful of people that have not taken a single shift that I hired since getting this job, have not taken a single shift. And it's like, well, when our season ends in May, I'm going to like delete you from our database. Because clearly you not actually interested in working here. There's been plenty of opportunities.
Just get rid of them.
But no one can accuse me of discriminatory hiring practices because I'm like, I hire everyone that applies.
I hire every single person. You're not discriminating enough, Tab.
Yeah, and like that would be my defense if that was ever like thrown in my face. Like, oh, you didn't hire this person because you're firing this person because they're black or they're a woman or they're this or that. And I was like, well, I hired every candidate that has applied, and this person didn't work a single shift in a year. So I'd rather open up that spot for someone who might be interested in actually working some shifts.
Yeah.
These portals are just frustrating because like this one is
Yeah,
generic.
I don't miss them at all.
No, of course
Like I
not.
hate them so much.
And like I said, those we've talked about this before too. Like those application questions are so ridiculous. They're meant to be something that would like suss out your personality. But so like in an interview, someone might say, Tony, tell me about a time where you had a challenge with a deadline, but you had to make a compromise with someone that you worked with. And then you would like make up some bullshit story or draw on an actual story from your past and talk about it. Right. But that would highlight your individual personality. It would let you talk about strengths and weaknesses. Like these questions are just like, they might as well be pick their color red. And then just a list of colors. Like, can you read and click? Because they're not, especially when they're created by. So I'm applying for this job because this summer, we shut down in May and we don't open back up until September. So it's just gonna be 9 to 5 for 4 months. Like, it's gonna be boring as shit. And I was like, well, I could go make a little bit extra money, maybe get some cheap shop time. Who knows?
Instead, you're getting your data harvested.
Instead, I'm getting my data harvested. And like, I feel like in an interview, I could explain that. And they would go, oh, that makes sense. You seem like a normal person. But in those questions, you're either a normal person who can answer, or you're like a fucking psychotic lunatic.
I've always been better with in-person or even phone interviews. That whole like the web portal stuff, it's like, nah, this isn't working for me. Like they're just gonna pass right over me.
Yeah, because there's no way to like let personality shine. There's no there are no like text fields where you could write about yourself, which is also awful. But at least then it would be somewhat applicable. It's like, and the fact that it's all like, and the fact that you know that it's algorithmically driven.
Yeah.
Like they want to see those keywords in your resume, and if you don't have those keywords, it will deprioritize you over another person who's able to resume hack. And so someone who's lesser qualified or is a not as good of a fit gets an interview and thus gets hired when you don't even get called, because on those algorithmic tests you're honest, and you're like, Sally comes to you and says she's having problems at home, but the deadline is Friday. What do you say? Like, get your fucking shit together, Sally. I know. We all have shit. I got shit going on too. Fucking get it together.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, like there were questions in the one that I took today that were like, what would you tell a person who you did a group project? You did a group project. One person did most of the work. They get the entire team gets complimented. This person is upset because they feel like they did most of the work. What do you tell them? Fucking toughen up. And that was one of the options, was like, yeah, you didn't get complimented. Fucking get over it.
Yeah.
Welcome to life as a man.
Yep.
But instead I had to pick the thing where I was like, have you considered talking to the supervisor in person?
Yeah.
I would
That's the
never
answer
tell
they want you
someone
to
that.
pick.
I would tell, if someone, don't fucking talk to me. That's what I would say. That, I can't believe that she didn't compliment me specifically on all the work I did on this. Why are you fucking talking to me? Group project's over. Get the fuck out of here. Please leave my office. Like, that's what I would say. That's what I want to say in that situation. But that's not a clickable button. And also, if you click that button, like I said, it's almost like the test is not if you like know how to function as a human being in these. It's like, can this person lie enough to get this job?
Yeah. That's really what it is, which is really annoying. It's like, how good could you lie to get this job? How many buttons can you click here that will trick us into giving you a job? It's like, can I just like interview you guys, get an interview and like, argue my case and whatnot?
Yeah.
Instead, I'm getting robocalls. Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah. I remember once I applied. I think it's the only job that I've ever not gotten.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago. This was like right out of high school. I applied for a job at Family Video,
Okay.
which was, it's a movie chain franchise thing, and they were called Family Video, but they had a porn section.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And
Hey,
so,
porn can be enjoyed by the whole family.
porn for the whole family.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed. I had to go. Went to like an initial interview, and then I had to go in and take a math test, and it was mind blowing because I show up to the regular interview. I have like a collared shirt and khaki pants. Maybe I was wearing a tie. I don't remember. I show up to the math test like a few days later, and I'm again wearing a collared shirt and khaki pants, maybe a tie, and they give you like this packet, and you have to like figure out the change. It's like, I worked at Quick Trip. My first job was at Quick Trip. I do all my change in my head. They don't do it anymore that way. I don't know why. But when I was there, you had to make all the change in your head instantly. So this math test is a waste of fucking time. Quick Trip is on my resume. There's a Quick Trip across the street. You guys know how it works.
Yeah.
So then I passed the math test. So I show up for the math test, and there was like the guy that shows up also is like dropped off by his mom or something. He's wearing the most ripped up holy jeans I've ever seen, and like a shitty hoodie and flip flops. And I'm just like, really, dude? This is like a quasi job interview, and you show up looking like that? And then I got interviewed by the regional manager or general district manager or some shit again. And then it was like, oh no, sorry, we're going in a different direction. Like, what possible other direction could there be? You need people to stand at the fucking register and ring up movies. Like, what possible risk is there of hiring 3 people and then picking the best one?
Yeah.
Like, you just need a dummy who can like go, do you want popcorn and candy with that?
Did they pick the guy? Did they pick the guy with the holes in his jeans and
Oh,
shit?
I have no idea. So I applied.
You
for
never
that
visited
job.
that establishment again?
No, I probably rented movies from there again. But by the time I got through that interview process, so I was looking for something to do part-time to fill in when I wasn't doing theater work. And by the time I got through that interview process, the theater work was picking up again. And then
Okay.
I just focused on that, and I ended up being what I did.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I always remember that interview, walking to sitting next to that guy who looked like he was about to, after he finished that test, go out on the corner and held up a sign that said anything helps.
Yeah.
And so like the portals are meant to filter those people out, but it's so immensely frustrating that you don't even get a chance to make your case. You have to like please the robot. You have to do all that resume hacking shit where you put in keywords and miscellaneous. Like you see these, and I see resumes that are built to these algorithms, and because there'll be things in there like proficient in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and that kind of thing. Like, yeah, everyone is. I mean, when I work on Excel spreadsheets, I'm like trying to make the Excel spreadsheet do what I want, and then I go over here and I'm like, in Excel, make cells do the thing I need them to do, enter. And it's like, to make the cells do this thing, you click these buttons and do this thing. And I'm like, all right, then, cool. I'm proficient in Excel now. Like, I can't remember how to do any of them off the top of my head, but I can make a sheet that does a bunch of things. And so then, because there's also, you want all your stuff to fit on one resume page, so you put in all this like superfluous bullshit to hack the algorithm, and then you have these algorithm hackers. So there's this conference coming up. It's a theater conference, and it's in St. Louis this year. So my company is sending us to go to it, and I was like, "You guys are paying for it? Fucking sweet." So I got the full conference pass, and they have an app. I got an email that's like, download the USITT app and see all the vendors and other stuff. And so I downloaded this app, and I was looking at sessions to add to my calendar, what sessions I wanted to see. And I'm looking through the sessions, and then I see you can like pull up and look at all the speakers that are happening there. You can also look at all of the other attendees and like virtually cyberstalk them before you even get there, which is amazing. And I did the other night. I was bored, and so I just scrolled through the attendee list to see if there was anyone that I hated who was also going. So I'm scrolling through the speaker list, and I see this girl that I went to college with who was a talentless nobody. And she's got a bio that's this long, that's just like done all these shows here and this place and that place and this place and that place, this place and that place. And I'm just like, well, one, I know that these are a little more trumped up than they are. Like these are like, I did a one-man show at this one theater, so putting it on the list. And number two, I was like, it's because you're a woman of color. Like
that's how she got it.
Yeah, because she was never that good. And I'm just like, yeah, you're living life on easy mode, and you're evidently very good at this, at trumping up these things.
Well, she's got some talent then.
Yeah, I'm not very good at those kinds of things. Like, this is what I do. I don't know. I'm much better in person. Like, I can interview and tell captivating stories about my work. But when it's like, list off your job responsibilities. I literally, in this application, I had to put in my job responsibilities. I just logged into my employee portal and found the job description that was from when I applied for the job, and I was just like, copy, paste. Nailed it. Then when I got to the next job and I had to actually write what I did, I was like, man, I just fucking took care of shit. I was the guy.
If I had to explain the last job I had, I'd be like, I don't know, I did a lot, buddy.
I did the thing. I was the guy in the mafia that you called when there was a problem. I was the wolf.
You're Luca
That's who I
Brasi.
am. What?
Luca Brasi, the Godfather version. Yeah,
I'm the fixer. You need something done, and you don't know how it's going to happen. You call me, it'll get happen.
Yeah,
I can tell you 100 stories of doing that. They won't fit in this 1,000 character text box you've left me.
Yeah, and I doubt the people even read that shit.
They probably it's because the algorithm reads it. The algorithm is just like, there's none of your things say event. Like the word production, synonym for event. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
So fucking frustrating.
so stupid.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But that's
Hopefully
where we
I
live
don't
in.
need
You
it.
got to please computers before you can please the people.
Hopefully I won't need it. Hopefully things don't go horribly wrong.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Well, this has been Here's What I Don't Get. I'm Tab Burt.
I'm Tony from Hack the Movies.
We'll catch you guys next week. If you want to call into Here's What I Get hotline, call us at 704-750-9434 and tell us what you don't get. Or you can visit us on the Discord and the voicemail upload channel. I've got a couple here from the regular voicemail hotline. Holy shit. I think Andy's new bit is just doing 3-minute voicemails.
Oh, God damn it.
How to use the unit. How to stop. Set the auto off switch to off. Before starting, warning. Do not operate this unit until you read this instruction manual for safety, operation, and maintenance instructions. For proper operation of your air compressor, it is recommended that a 50% duty cycle be maintained. That is, the air compressor should not
So he's
run
reading his
more
air
than
compressor
30
manual
minutes
to
in
us.
any specific area.
Fascinating.
Break-in.
Here's another voicemail.
Okay.
I just want to say if you've played The Last of Us, the video game, and watched The Last of Us, the TV show, and thought both of them were good, you're a faggot.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Have you watched the Last of Us TV show or played the Last of Us?
No, I
video
never
game?
even played the game.
Yeah, I tried. Tim was like, Last of Us, it's great. It's a great game. You should play it. So I think it was a PS3. Tim and I bought a PS3 together like a child.
Yeah.
And so when I got, we would just like alternate off who had it if there was a game or whatever. And so he bought The Last of Us and then gave it
Yeah.
to me to play it. And and I was like, I made maybe 20 minutes into the game. I did not make it far at all. And I was just like, this sucks.
I think I downloaded it when it was like free on the PlayStation thing, and I haven't played it yet. I still have not played it.
Yeah. So I have no interest in watching the TV show on top of it being on HBO Max, which is like, yeah, it's not going to be good. And then apparently there's all the gay stuff going on.
Yeah. Real quick, your Google Voice line, does it just? Because apparently my Google Voice line, it just got rid of my number. Does it switch your number up?
It doesn't. They probably sent you an email like a couple weeks ago that was like, you need to renew this number or we'll get rid of it.
Oh,
So
God
we get
damn
enough
it.
Voicemails that we haven't had that happen on this one, but another Google Voice line that I've had 2 Google Voice numbers expire. So
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry.
Last of the show was a bait and switch. First episode or 2 were fine, and then it went downhill. Yes, welcome to modern Hollywood. My dad's texting me this weekend. He's like, did you watch Picard season 2? I'm like, no. Tim and I watched season 1. We did a commentary on every episode. It was fucking unwatchably bad. Star Trek is dead.
Yeah.
Fucking stick a fork in
over.
it. It's done. And he was like, this season's not that bad. And then I guess he was 4 episodes in. He made it a couple more episodes. He goes, it started to go downhill now. I'm just like, who the fuck are you? Because he was like, I won't watch 1 second. I think he was on an episode of the Picard review show we did, and he's like, I won't watch 1 fucking second of these shows. And then now he's
And then
texting
he
me
watched
like,
it.
Season 2 is pretty all right. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We got
Yeah,
one.
I was gonna give him a chance, and then when I saw some of the Discovery stuff, I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm out.
I watched the first season of Discovery, did a commentary on every episode.
Yeah.
Tim and I watched the first season of Picard, did a commentary on every episode. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, fooled me, ain't gonna get fooled again. That's what George Bush said. Okay.
I knew you were going there.
Some of my favorite quotes ever.
Yeah, fool me, don't get fooled again.
All right. Here's one last voicemail. think that's a voicemail for Reacher. It sounds like it's outside too.
Yeah.
That reverb. Reacher did not join me for this episode. He was being a real
Aw.
shithead earlier.
Oh, where's that? Oh. She's right next to me, Space Cat. She's been a real bitch lately.
Yeah. I had to take the other cat to the vet because he had like this anxiety issue and licked himself bald. So today there was a follow-up visit. So of course we get back and Reacher was like, "Oh, this is a great time to fight."
Space Cat did the thing where she's like, my litter box is just slightly too full. Should I go to the other 2 litter boxes, or should I shit in front of this litter box to make a point? Which one do you think she did, Tab?
I'm gonna think that's the second one.
Yeah, she shit right in front of the litter box, even though she had 2 clean litter boxes to choose from. I hate her so much. I can't believe I got stuck with this cat.
Hateful, yeah.
No.
Just leave her there when you move.
I should.
Anyway.
She's terrible.
Well, that's this week's episode, everybody. Thanks for listening. Catch you guys next week.
Goodbye. Okay. It's just me. Oh, God, we're still live. Why did you leave me live? This is awkward. This is such an awkward ending.